Hello.
No,
I'm reading your bookshelves.
they're all Caroline's.
Of course they're Caroline's.
Yeah. They come in here and they look at all the books and they say, wow, you've lots of books, don't you, Padraig? And I'm going, these are my wife's.
Yeah,
Why would you presume that,
yeah,
they're all mine?
obviously.
Like I have a bookcase over there. I have one bookcase and one in the sitting room. And she's got loads,
Yeah.
10 times what I have.
Well, isn't that just the patriarchy for you?
But there you go, yeah.
Yeah. So how's it going? Tell me about your lockdown life. So you have had your kids. You have 4 kids.
4 kids, yeah.
And they've been at home since.
When did lockdown start? When did the year start?
It would have been, so the schools closed like around Paddy's Day, right?
Just after that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've had them.
Well, you didn't have, had you a state exam?
Junior search, yeah.
Okay.
So
How did that news go?
very well, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, delight.
Yeah.
Delight from parents and person taking the junior search as well. So
Yeah.
that went down really well. I mean,
Great.
what a junior search, it's a waste of space, really.
Well, so you guys have all been at home.
Yeah.
Because you work from home.
Yeah.
And Caroline works from home.
Yeah, I mean, but we're well used to it because I've been working from home for years.
Yeah.
I was working from home when they were really small.
Yeah.
Like my heart kind of goes out to people who have small kids now. It's a lot harder,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I used to write stuff when they were like 3 or 4 years old and they'd be crawling all over me, I was kind of used to that. But now they're at the age where they're able to do their own thing. And everyone in this house likes to do their own thing. So
Yeah.
great,
And have you been able to read?
Not really. No, bits and pieces on things, But I have really bad reading habits. I used to be a really good reader. But because I'm old now, my concentration span is gone. What will happen is I might have 5 or 6 books on the go for over the course of a year, and I'll dip into one and then dip into another.
Okay.
And I've forgotten what's happening. But that doesn't matter anyway because my short-term memory is gone anyway because I'm old. So it's just, so I tend to do a lot of that. So I wish I was a bit more consistent. So I've been reading bits and pieces of things, I'm finishing things that I started before Christmas.
Okay. Anything stand out? Can you remember anything?
I'll tell you what really stood out for me. I think have you read this? Skylar?
Oh, yeah. Oh, so good. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But all of her stuff is brilliant.
Yeah. I haven't read any of her other stuff, but I hear great things.
Yeah.
But the thing I loved about that, and I don't want to get all locked down about it and the books for lockdown, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it's set before World War One, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of dealing with a family who has to deal with this terrible global event,
Yeah.
So there's kind of those kind of parallels going on, which is kind of interesting. But I love the way she tells the story.
Yeah.
It's almost not your standard chapter thing. It's like you're almost vignettes.
Yeah.
Plunged into one aspect of their life in one chapter on holiday, and then you're plunged into another aspect. You're in the middle of a conversation, and I love that. I love the style, and I'd love to be able to do that. I don't know how she does that. It looks easy.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's one of those, yeah. Like I was saying to the lads, because we're doing these staff chats as well, and I was saying to them that I couldn't concentrate on anything. Like I had great aspirations. Like I brought home all of the Hilary Mantels, and I was like, I'm finally going to read Wolf Hall. But I just found I just couldn't concentrate on it. And it was the same. Like I couldn't remember what was going on. And I think there are some books that's fine for, but the Thomas Cromwell story is not one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I put it aside, and then I started reading Agatha Christie's. And I found something so comforting in the style. And actually I'd never really read Agatha Christie before, so I read 5 of them back to back, and I found something really comforting in the routine of kind of, they're formulaic, but in a great way.
Yeah.
Because you don't see the end coming, but you should have seen it coming. And they're very clever. But this week, and I don't have it to hand, I read the new Suzanne Collins, the new Hunger Games book.
Oh, yeah.
It is brilliant.
Really?
It's so brilliant. And I mean, I was kind of one of those people I was a little bit disappointed by the Mockingjay I found it kind of rushed, and it didn't give me everything that I had kind of wanted from it. I thought they did a great job with it in the films, and it did give me a better appreciation for the book. But it's called The Ballad of Songbirds, Snakes and Songbirds, I think, and it is so good. Like, did you read The Hunger Games or
I
what?
haven't read them. No, and this one is a prequel, isn't it?
It's a prequel, so it's like so it's about President Snow, who's the kind of leader of Pan Am, and it's kind of it explains him and how he became who he became, but it also explains the Hunger Games, how they came to be. Like, when the book starts, the Hunger Games have only just kind of started. Nobody's really that interested in them, and it's just something that happens that nobody watches on TV or anything like that. But she's just, and it's absolutely brilliant, and she's obviously taken her time with it.
Yeah.
And made it really special. Now, I don't know if it's going to be, it's a great complete story, but there's also room for another one. So I don't know if it's another trilogy that she's planning on writing or whatever. I think they'll probably see how it goes.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant, though. I was really, really happy with it. Would recommend to a friend.
Yeah, because I always get really nervous with prequels because the tension of the story is gone, really.
Exactly, yeah. But what she's done, like, even it's so clever. It's so clever, and she has weaved it into the Hunger Games in such a way that you really understand why President Snow is so pissed off at Katniss.
Yeah.
Why he takes her behavior so personally. It's not so obvious that you're like, ugh, you're trying to match this all together. Like, she does it. It's really subtle. It's very clever. Really enjoyed it. And I read it in about 2 days, which is unheard of for me at the moment. So, because I'm back to work as well.
All right.
Yeah.
You're in the shop, are you? Or?
Yeah, I'm in the shop. So, so we're kind of getting ready for our big reopening, which will probably be, we're phase 2, June 8th.
I hear that, yeah.
Yeah, but we're very, that's very loose. We obviously will not reopen until we know that everything can be safe for everyone. But we've got our lovely Perspex up at each till. So but we've been dealing with 6 weeks worth of back orders. So the goods have been, the books have been arriving.
Yeah.
So we're so some of us have been in to kind of try to get ready for that. And like, I had empty shelves. I had bays of empty shelves because we could only sell what we had,
Yeah.
So it's great now the supply chain is back up and running, but it also means there's chaos because there's books just flung everywhere. Nothing is priced, nothing is, because why would you, because we pick our web orders from the shelves. So when the web orders go, we have to take each individual price tag off. So for the last 6 weeks, we haven't been pricing anything because why would you bother? Because there's no customers in the shop.
Yeah.
So now I have to go through each individual shelf and like find the stuff that wasn't priced and price it. Because obviously we're trying to limit the amount that we communicate with the customers when they come in the door as well. So, but it is definitely going to be a different experience. We won't be able to recommend stuff the way we used to and kind of interact with customers the way that we used to. And I think book buying is such a sensory experience. It's going to be interesting to see how, but people will adjust. They do, they have been adjusting. So have you been able to write?
Oh, for a long time, no.
No.
But nobody can.
No.
I think it was Lisa McGee who wrote Derry Girl said the only people who can write at the moment are sociopaths. Which is probably true.
Yeah.
But every writer I know couldn't write for the first, at least for the first few weeks. It was true for me anyway. Yeah. I know Sarah Crossan was asking lots of people on Twitter, other authors, were they having problems? And everyone, absolutely everybody can't write.
Yeah.
But I finally got back into the groove this week.
Okay. And so you have a book coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
About it? Oh, you can talk about it. Great. And so talk to me about how lockdown, how COVID, how has that changed your book experience, or has it?
You mean the public,
like everything. So we talked about when the London Book Fair was cancelled. We talked about that at the time. So what happened when the London Book Fair was cancelled?
Good question. I don't know. Everything just kind of suddenly went very quiet, I think, for a lot of publishers, and I think there was a lot of running around. People didn't know what's going to happen next, really. And a lot of people I know they had their publication pushed back.
Yes.
My book is coming out on September 17th, and that hasn't been pushed back.
Okay.
So I'm lucky in that respect.
Yeah.
It seems a lot of books have been pushed into autumn, winter now.
Yeah. But I mean, it's going to be a different experience for you because I know we're not going to be able to do a book launch this year, you know.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be launching this one in London and Dublin. But the likelihood of that now.
Yeah. Although, you know, we're embracing the idea of a virtual launch. You know, we've embraced Zoom in a way that I don't think anyone would have anticipated. Yeah. We would have.
That's the great thing, though. It's like bookshops are kind of dealing with this in a new ways now, and Zoom is kind of really helping you get out there.
Yeah.
And bringing a whole new angle to bookshops, I think, which is one good thing anyway.
Yeah, because I mean, people are reading more, you know, and especially, I mean, I've noticed it. My kids' orders are, you know, through the roof because, and I'm very aware of the fact that, like, you've had your kids home since the middle of March, but you're now staring into the summer with no summer camps, no nothing, and you won't even have the homeschooling, you know, to entertain, as it were. So, that's great that I'm delighted, well, so far that your book hasn't been delayed. Because I have a lot of great books have been. For better or worse, I guess. I feel awful for a lot of the debut authors. Yeah,
that's really tough, I think.
Yeah.
Very, very tough for people.
Yeah. Because
years for this thing to happen and then bang.
Yeah, because it's years. Years, and the dream is coming alive and nothing. But that being said, though, everybody will always remember the COVID books, I think.
Yeah.
I won't forget any of them anyway. I won't forget any of the cancelled launches or any of the desperate authors or any of the, you know.
Yeah. It's pity because people can't be with family and friends, because I remember when my first book came out, we had a huge launch up in Newbridge. It was loads of people. It was brilliant, fantastic. And you kind of lose that experience then, which is a shame, you know.
Yeah. And so what's the name of your book? Your new book?
The book is called The Monsters of Rookhaven.
Ooh. Nice proof. Nice gold proof.
There was only 160. Actually, this is, you know, you asked me what happened publication-wise, and there was only 160 early proofs made.
Okay.
And the plan was to have 160 early proofs for the London Book Fair and various other people, and then follow it with another round of proofs, but a lot more. But those proofs were cancelled completely because everything went up in the air.
Okay, so those 160 proofs that exist in the world could be worth something someday.
There's loads of illustrations in it.
Oh, brilliant.
It adds a whole new dimension.
Is it still 9 to 12? Is it still like a middle grade, 8 plus kind of book? Like your others, or?
It's 9 to 12, but kind of pushing a bit higher up into...
Ooh, 12 plus. Ooh.
Possibly, yeah. It's...
Scandalous.
It's darker, you know.
Okay.
It's a bit darker than the previous two. But I'm a huge fan of, you know, I know I write kids' books, but I like to push things a little bit, you know, in terms of theme and in terms of darkness, in terms of, how should I put it? I don't know, I just add a bit of an edge to things, you know. I better not say anything, I'll give it away. But
okay.
Someone in this house always says to me, Dad, why does someone always die in your books? You know, there's always that.
Yeah.
But there you go. Did I tell you, what was it? This is terrible. One of my most favorite experiences was a friend of mine read Tim. And I don't want to give anything away in case anyone sees this. But something happened to a certain character. And my friend's daughter ran into her bedroom in the middle of the night and threw herself into her mother's arms and wept.
Oh my God.
What happened to this certain character? And her mother wept too when she read it. So I was like, yay.
Yeah, that's it. Like, yeah, you know, and people don't give kids enough credit. I don't think they're very resilient. And I think about all of the stuff that I learned through books, reading books that were probably not age appropriate.
Yeah,
when I was a kid. But in my house, you read books. You know, they were just there. You know, you picked them up and you read them, and it didn't matter what age they were or anything like that. You just read them. So, and I think a lot of it just goes over their heads as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
like I remember when one of the Skullduggery Pleasants came out. It was one of the newer ones, and one of our other staff members read it, and rang me and was like, "Oh my god, like this is 15 plus." Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well all his other books are 9 to 12, so I can't categorize Skullduggery Pleasant as 15 plus. Like I can't break up a series like that. But just let me read it, and if necessary, I'll recategorize the whole series into 12 plus, whatever. And I read the book, and I was like, nobody is going to read into that book what you've read into that book. Like, no child is going to recognize that for what it is. Like, that's a little in-joke that he's stuck in there for himself. Like, yeah, some of the parents will click it, but no, 9 to 12, back where he belongs, you know. And come here, what are your 4 kids reading? Are they reading? Because your house they're readers.
They're good readers. The youngest, as you know, is a mad, voracious reader at the moment. Mm-hmm. And she's read The Skylark's War.
Very critical of her dad.
And you're very critical of her father, yes.
Yeah. Well, you're writing. I don't really know how to
writing. Yeah. And she sped through The Skylark's War in a couple of days. It took me forever because I can't concentrate anymore. And she, my other daughter, has been going back to reading Robin Stevens. Again, Robin Stevens is a huge favourite in this house.
Yeah.
Gone Down a Storm. Yeah. I mean, she read them all years ago, but she's reading them all again.
Great.
Sherlock Holmes as well.
Oh, brilliant.
What else? My son reads, youngest son reads fantasy books. Mm-hmm. You know, and devours them. I mean, he reads really fast as well. He read The Monsters of Brookhaven in 2 hours when I gave it to him initially. So he can read a big fantasy book in a day or two almost. And my other son reads football books about non-fiction stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the Bundesliga, the Italian league, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, they're right on brand for the ages that they are.
That's it, yeah. And what else? My good wife is reading, what is she reading? Stephen King.
I have her Cujo. It's over here. Please tell her that I will get it back to her at some stage.
I will.
If you have time to read it, and I am reading it, finally. Is she reading the new Stephen King?
She is, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, she's liking it, I think. She prefers the novels. But this is 4 long stories, I think. Long short stories, whatever you might call them. The funny thing, I just remember that Cujo was the first Stephen King I ever read.
Oh?
When I was 13 or so.
Uh-huh.
Great. I've been hearing about this guy, Stephen King. He's brilliant, fantastic. I have to read this stuff. And I remember I picked it up in the shop and I read it. And I was just bored to death.
Oh,
and again, I think it was too old for me. But it wasn't so much about a rabbit dog as it is about the breakdown in a marriage.
Yeah.
Really. And that kind of just wasn't missing that.
Yeah.
And that nearly killed my interest in Stephen King, almost.
Okay.
So I said, I'll give it another go. So I think the next one I got was The Shining.
Oh, yes. The Shining is the first Stephen King that I ever read.
Yeah.
Famously bought for me by my father right after my very first breakup.
All right. That was very thoughtful, wasn't it?
I love the way his mind works. He's like, Grainne's upset. Grainne likes books. I'll buy her a book. It was The Shining. It was great though, actually. I was brilliant. And it was the first Stephen King that I read and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And I read, so I'm reading Cujo. And I read, what did I read recently? I read Christine. Have you read it? Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Like, Car with a Soul. Only Stephen King could pull it off properly.
Yeah, I read it when I was 14 or so, and I remember loving it at the time.
Yeah.
I know people rubbish it now and just laugh at it, but
it's brilliant.
The scene where the car attacks, tries to drive into someone's house, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's so
I don't remember that much of it now, but
yeah, like
I remember being riveted at the time, you know.
I think I think it would be more categorized as magical realism now than horror. Which I suppose could be said of a lot of Stephen King's books, like what's the difference between magical realism and horror? Especially when he is concerned, because there's sometimes it's just out and out, you know, gore and whatever, but like there is also this kind of magic side to it that I think if you were, you know, if you wanted to, you could categorize them as magical realism or fantasy. But I don't know, he's strictly in the horror section. Yeah. We're redoing the whole shop actually at the moment, so because we have to make room for social distancing and stuff, so all of the backlist fiction is coming down to the front, and the crime and fantasy and sci-fi books are staying where they are. And it's presenting a new fun challenge for like categorize, because normally, you know, you could categorize some stuff as crime, you could categorize some stuff as fiction. It didn't really matter. They were right next to each other on the shelf. So if it wasn't in one place, it was in the other.
Yeah.
So now it's going to present a brand new fun challenge for like where we're going to find everything.
Are you going to introduce a one-way system or time limits and stuff?
Yeah, we just don't know yet. It's so fluid. We just don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Like, yeah, there's going to be a bit of a one-way system. Floors will be blocked off at certain times. The shop's not going to be open for that long. You know, it's going to be limited hours so that we can kind of do our, but like, because normally, you know, when the shop's open 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever, we just kind of stroll through the shop and do our jobs and price and put out and whatever. And we're just not going to be able to do that anymore. Like, we're going to have to be behind the perspectives at all times, you know, at our desks. So we're going to be in, like, we'll still be working the same hours and making sure like the shop is functioning and the way that it should be and the stuff is getting priced and put on the shelves, but the staff, you know, the shop itself will be open limited hours, at least at the start. But again, I say this now, we're recording this in May. There is no guarantees anymore, like what's going to happen tomorrow. So, but yeah, like virtual launches, and we're going to adapt. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Going to be a new fun challenge. Just when you thought that working in a bookshop was routine and you knew what to expect every day.
Whole new world. But
yeah.
You can drink wine at virtual launches anyway as well. So
oh yeah, I mean, I don't think there's ever been any hesitation on the wine front.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, yeah. How, like, anything else?
Do you know what else I read? I have to mention this. See if I can find it. Yeah. Have you read any Padraig O'Donnell books?
I'm ashamed to say no, I haven't.
Yeah, this is the first one of his I've read, The House in Vesper Sands. I read it before Christmas.
Okay.
You know, when you read a book sometimes, and it's like, this is the best one I've had in ages.
Yeah.
And that's what it was like for me. It's set in Victorian London, and it's about a guy investigating a secret society. Women are disappearing, but this guy ends up accidentally linking up with a detective. Mm-hmm. The detective is the best detective I've ever come across. I'm not a huge fan of detective books and stuff like that.
Okay. I'm interested because I love them.
Yeah, I could see Ciarán Hinds playing the detective. Like, it's very gothic, very atmospheric, but there's points at it as well. Sometimes it's absolutely hilarious as well. Some of the one-liners are brilliant. There's an autopsy report at one point, which is one of the funniest things I've ever read in a book. The book is The House in Vesper Sands.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, very, very witty. He's a very witty writer.
Were you one of the lucky to get an advance copy of Strange Flowers?
No, I should have asked.
Oh my God. You know, like, I would say probably in my life, which is, you're probably the same, like when you read a lot or when you write a lot or whatever, like there's probably only 5 or 6 books that I could say actually like changed me.
Yeah.
You know, which people always find really weird. They're like, how of all the books can you only point to 5? Like as in The Shadow of the Wind by Zafon, that's one. You know, there's just some books that will stay with me forever. Daisy Jones and the Six, which I read last year by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Strange Flowers is just something else. I mean, it's not out till August. I feel really bad like talking about it because people can't buy it yet, but when they buy it, like, we knew Donal Ryan before he became, I mean, he's already a superstar, but like, we knew him before he's about to be untouchable. He's going to be so famous. We're never going to be able to take him for copies again.
Because he said something to me about it, that it was a bit different, all right, than previous stuff.
It's so different. It's because like Donal is small town Ireland. He's like that micro, those kind of small stories. Like I love like The Spinning Heart. It is so many different characters, but it's actually telling the one story. From all these different perspectives, and it's moving along. Strange Flowers is generational. It's such an ambitious project in such a small book. It's still only like 60,000 words. Like it's small.
Yeah.
But it's this different generation of families and how they cope with like their lives in and it's still small town Ireland, but it deals with like race. It's got family scandal. It's so good.
Yeah.
I'll lend you my copy.
Oh, thanks very much.
Yeah. When the shop is open again, you can borrow my copy. But I want it back.
All right, you'll get back. Absolutely. Because I was going to ask for one.
Because I lent Sarah Moore Fitzgerald my proof of tin and I never saw it again.
Never lend books. It's the worst thing you can do.
No, that's not my philosophy at all.
Yeah.
I lend books. And if they don't come back, they don't come back. That's fine. That's, they're out into the universe and that book didn't belong to me. It belonged to someone else.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy of books.
My proof of tin has vanished.
Have you asked Sarah Moore Fitzgerald?
She probably has it, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is. I'm raging now. I can't remember who I gave it to or who picked it up, but it's out there somewhere.
Now, there are certain things that I don't give away. And actually, as I've said that, maybe I don't want to give you my copy of Strange Flowers.
Do you know what? Don't. I will. No, I'll ask. I know who to ask for it.
Or what we could do is I could call you and read it.
Read it over the phone. Brilliant.
Read it over the phone. We could do like an audiobook. Anyway, it's been lovely to talk to you.
Yeah, it was great chatting to you too.
I miss you guys. Thank you so much for doing this.
Listen, thanks for asking me, I'm sure.
No problem. See you soon.